All right, there it goes. I was like, wait a minute, let's see, is this thing going or not going? Uh, all right. Okay, now you're gonna jump up here. Can I be of assistance to you? It's like almost she knows when the camera's on, don't you? You want to come up and say hello? All right, we got JJ in here. DJ's in the house. Dawn is here. Nostradamus. Kathy's here. Janet's here. Carol Prince. Dale from Ohio. Emil. JK. Whispering Pines. Forest Ghost Preparedness. Smoking Swamp Outdoors. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. The Country Humans Network. Very nice. Glad to see everybody here tonight. Village Homestead is in the house. Anyway, so hope everybody's doing well. I hope you guys have had a good week. It is Friday, so it is technically the weekend. Anyway, so what was I going to say? Before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel, right? Uh, Please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. Uh, if you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we're not going to have it. All right, just putting that out there ahead of time. So, I do have an announcement I want to make, and I'm doing this with his permission, just so you guys know ahead of time. I got a call from Asif the other day, and his father was spending like 46 weeks out of the year down in Florida, I believe, with one of his brothers, and then he comes up and he spends a couple weeks at Osage, and he spends some time at another brother's, and and so that way he's can visit. Well, I guess he said that Tuesday morning, I think it was Tuesday morning. Was it Tuesday? Whatever morning, it was one of the mornings this week that because his father just passed away. Um, Asif had gone to work, and his wife was going to take the father out to go visit some friends. And they were supposed to leave at like 10 o'clock, and she had gone in, and she could not rouse him. And so they took him. He would not come out of it. So what happened was what happened was he had a massive stroke, and so they let the families know, and the father did not want any you know he didn't want to have his life prolonged if something happened. They had talked about that ahead of time, and Asif was like, "I never expected it to happen when my dad was at my place, because of the short window of time that he normally was there." But unfortunately, Asif's father did pass away. So please, anybody that if you're into praying, please pray for Asif and his family. In this time when that he just lost his father. So he won't be in the chat tonight. He said to me, he goes, let everybody know. He said, you have my permission to let people know what happened. But I'm going to tell you what. If you're going to go, honestly, what a great way to go. I mean, you go to sleep and you just never wake back up again. And he passed rather quickly, but a massive stroke will definitely do that. His father. So somebody gonna ask how old was his father? His father was 83 years old. So good run. But what a way to go. I mean, honestly, no idea it happened, and you're gone. So. But it's tough on the family, of course. They were very close, and so that it makes it much more difficult. So again, my thoughts are definitely with Asif, and I would ask you guys. Asif is his name, Lamb's Light, um, and him being a doctor. I mean that's tough. And I guess his brother's a doctor too. I guess the dad was a doctor, so bunch of doctors in the whole family, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. We definitely need more doctors. But anyway, so that's what's going on, and I just wanted to let everybody know. It's like I said, that's never an easy thing when you lose a parent. And I mean, my dad's been gone for quite a while now, and but mom's still kicking. She's doing good. She's doing good. Comes quickly, Ed, out of nowhere, and the next thing you know, hospitalized. Well, JJ, you definitely know, my friend. Um, and the thing is, honestly, guys, when I talk about at the end of a lot of my live streams, and I say, life is so short, to tell the people that you love and care about every day how you feel, because there really is no guarantee. We never, we could be in great health, we can feel fine, everything is good, and the next thing you know, something happens that throws that monkey wrench into everything. And it's just it's just one of those things, unfortunately, that happen. Realistically, and I mean, I've said this to a lot of people, we're on the same journey. It just depending on when we get there. We're all going the same way. We're none of us are getting out of this alive. So, um, it's just it's part of what happens, and it's unfortunate, but it's. I think with Asif being a doctor, you know, it's weird. I don't know how to explain this to you guys, so that anybody that's not in the medical field will never really understand. But if you're in the medical field, you get what I'm about to say. Being in the medical field, we look at death in a different perspective, because we deal with death. It's something that's part of our job. It's, when you're in nursing, you're going to deal with death. That's just part of it. And so, that's, so you accept it differently. And see, now for me, and this is kind of my perspective of it. I've worked with babies as young as 5 months and people over 100 years old in my career. And when somebody's older and they die, you can justify it, if you will. So you go, well, they're like Asif's dad. Asif's dad was 83. He had a good run, you know what I mean? And that's a good run. And so, but when a child dies, from cancer or whatever the case may be, that's not supposed to be what happens. So for me personally, I never could do pediatric cancer. I just couldn't, because I couldn't deal with that part of it for kids. And they're fighting for their lives, and sometimes they don't make it. And so that would tear me up. I just it's hard enough when you become attached to adults, you know um and then they go. I think back to Richie, and I'm just going to talk about him for a second. And I started taking care of Richie when Richie was 10 years old, and he had been in an automobile accident at 5. He was paralyzed from the neck down and on a ventilator for the rest of his life. And he passed away in his early 30s. Okay. This kid, he got dealt like the worst hand you possibly could get dealt. And he was such a loving young man. And, you couldn't help but fall in love with the kid. And so, that I'll be honest with you, that one, when Richie died, for me personally was probably the hardest one, because he's in a better place. Okay, stop now, come on. um he's in a better place, but you know in my selfishness, I'm going to miss him, and I wish he was here for my own reasons. And and that's not right either to think like that. But that one hurt. And I will not lie. I think about Richie often, and and all the good times we had, and we had so much fun, and we laughed and joked, and but again, it is part of the journey that we're all on. So you have to deal with it, and you kind of go from there. So, But anyway, I'm not trying to be morbid, so let us move on. But anyway, again, if you could keep Asif and his family in your thoughts and prayers with losing his father. Just come on, hell, stop. No, no more. You're not doing this tonight. No, you're not. You were just outside a little while ago. Don't look at me like that. She listens so well. Oh, no, she actually does. She's just a snot. She's actually done really, really well. The running off has stopped, right? We're not running off anymore. I got to do my live stream, Ella. I don't care. Stop. Now, come on, down. All right. Anyway, I know I want to get into this live stream, but I did want to share that with you guys, what's going on. So, what do you got? 253 in the chat. We got 107 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to please ask you to do so to show support for the channel. I really do appreciate it. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction that we have on channel, the better it is for the channel. So again, for that reason, I do appreciate it. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time. Maybe full of hope. Who knows? Maybe she was sensing my energy. That could be. That could be. That I was feeling a little melancholy, and so she wanted to comfort me. That absolutely could be. I had I'll tell you something that happened one time, and I didn't realize it at the time. Somebody else pointed it out to me later, and I was up in New York, and I was sitting at the picnic table, and I was really upset, and I don't even remember what I was upset about, to be honest with you. Uh, and so I was doing a video and I was really, really upset. And Buddy, you guys remember Buddy, jumped up on the table and, he wanted attention. So I started to pet him. What I didn't realize at the time, Buddy sensed my energy. He knew that I was upset. So he came up to comfort me. And by me petting him and giving him his attention, it actually brought me down. It calmed me down. And I'll never forget that because somebody pointed it out later. And I went back and I watched the video and I was like, oh my God, it was so true. Animals can sense when you're in distress, when you're upset, when you're sick, and they know. And they're there to, to comfort you and be a companionship to you. And I think that's really, really interesting. Yeah, and somebody just put on here, people that have animals live longer. I 100% agree with that. You know, I talk to you guys. Anybody that knows me knows I talk to everybody. So I have a lot of conversations with people, and I'll see a lot of older people with their dogs, and they take their dogs with them everywhere. And they're like, oh yeah, this is it's a great companion and it's a comfort, and they have somebody to do. They have a purpose. They have somebody to take care of. And so I think that is yes, they can add my two cats. Can't get them off me if I don't feel well. Yeah, exactly, Delbert, and that's cool. I actually like that with the cats, and I will be getting cats again. I'm just putting that out there too. I miss not having cats. Since I've been down here, I haven't had any cats, but I will have cats again. I love the companionship. They'll sleep with you. They want to be near you. They want to be around you, and my cat thinks her name is Move. That's actually very funny. That is very funny. But I've had 10 plus cats in 58 and a half years with the average lifespan of 18 years each. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I've had cats 14, 15 years old. That's now were your cats indoor cats, Village Homestead? Because my cats were in and out. And I know that cats that go in and out don't live as long as indoor cats. Indoor cats live a lot longer. So that's why a lot of folks have emotional support animals. No, exactly. Exactly. They and that's all right. There's not, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But one of my cats is 21 years young. Wow, that's a really good run. That is a really good run. All right, let's change it up and actually get on topic. How about that? I know that's a weird concept. The majority have been indoor cats only, with some of the earlier ones being in and out. I gotcha. Yeah, like I said, the indoor cats live longer. They absolutely do. So, but anyhow, do they think we're stupid? That was the topic of this video. I am seeing so much stuff going on, and it's like, you know, wording of stuff. When they don't want to call illegal aliens, they want to call them newcomers. I mean, how again? Do they think that we're stupid? Do they not figure we're going to figure it out? Um, Absolutely, they do. They're banking on it. Well, there is a lot of stupid people out there. I'm not trying to be mean, but there really, really is. And I'm going to tell you what. And on both sides of the aisle, folks. Okay, you're some conservatives and some, liberals. Not all of either side, but there is. I can't understand how people could look it so if you go back and you look at Trump's administration, right? Record low unemployment, record low uh, unemployment in the black community, record low unemployment in the Hispanic community. The economy was doing great right up until the pandemic came along, and destroyed the economy and everything else that went along with it there. And then supposedly, Biden's going to come in and save the day, and that has been a crap show. Realistically, it has been absolutely horrible under his administration. Uh, it has gotten worse for people. So I do not know how people can look and listen to the news media and go, "Oh yeah, they're being 100% honest." Everything is great and everything is wonderful when it's absolutely not. Uh, you know, I talk to people all the time, like I said, and what I'm hearing is things are not great. It's a struggle, and it's hard for a lot of people, which is, yeah, build back better, but for who? Exactly. When you have people that are lining their pockets, and I'm not saying that anybody, who's doing what and all that type of thing, but when you have presidents come in, and you look at the net worth of different presidents during their time when they're in office, and the majority of them, their wealth increases. There's one president that we recently had whose wealth went down during his time in president. Can anybody guess who that was? Where his wealth went down? I'll let you guys guess in the comments here, and we'll go from there. Yep, you guys got it right on the money. Trump. His net worth went down during his presidency. Obama's went way up during his presidency. And so I find that very, very interesting. You know, I think people forget too that when Trump was president, he donated his salary. I mean, I remember that. I can't think of any other president. There may have been one, and I just don't know it for sure. But I can't think of any other president that gave away their salary. But that's because they're all crooked. Lisa says, "Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think there is a lot of problems in government. And opportunity is there, and people take advantage of that opportunity. I don't know how people become multimillionaires on the salaries that they're making. They're just, and it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that a lot of these politicians just make such great investments in the stock market right at the right time, before something happens and something takes off and does really, really well, and then they triple or quadruple their investment, because they're just so smart about it, or their family members will be investing in something, and they're doing great. So it's just, and I'm sure that that has nothing to do with insider information. Of course not. Why that would be illegal. It's just, what amazes me is this: there's the rules for them, and then there's the rules for us. We have to follow a different set of rules than the people that are running the show. Yeah, let's ask Martha Stewart. Yeah, how does she go to jail and so many of these other ones don't? Well, here's something else like I said, we'll go back to this one, okay? We're going to talk about a gentleman that had a lot of damaging information about a lot of high profile people. And I'm going to let you guess who this person is, okay? We're going to have you guess in the chat. Now, this person got arrested, and he had all this dirt on a lot of politicians and stuff like that. So they had him on suicide watch because they were afraid he was going to commit suicide. So they had monitors on him. You had officers there. And this particular night, sadly, the cameras were broken. Sadly, the police officers that are supposed to be watching this individual while he's to make sure that he doesn't commit suicide, he commits suicide. Allegedly. Allegedly, he commits suicide. Yes, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Exactly who I'm talking about. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe that all of a sudden, mysteriously, the cameras are, and that the officers that are supposedly watch him all fell asleep. You know, just, well, there was a whistleblower too that just actually same thing, and he actually told for Boeing, the whistleblower for Boeing had said to a friend of his, "Just so you know, if something happens to me, I did not commit suicide." And lo and behold, there's another one supposedly, allegedly committed suicide. So it's amazing how when people have information that they that the powers that be, if you will, don't want to get out, right? And they do the whistleblower, like Julian Assange. I mean, he's still alive, but he had to flee the country. The other guy, Snowden, is another one. He had to flee the country as well. And if he ever comes back, and here's the thing that I find interesting about the Snowden case, okay? If he ever came back, he would be arrested because of giving the information that he was letting people know that the government was spying on average citizens. Snowden knew what was going on, and so he let that information out. And now, yeah, Snowden's in Russia. Yep, yes, he is. Yep, Don, Snowden is in Russia. And he'll never come back. He'll never be back in the United States. So, but he was giving information out, and he was letting people know, hey, wait a minute, what they're doing, government agencies, what they're doing isn't right. And because he leaked that information, they can't wait to get their hands on him, to lock him in a cell somewhere for a long time. And it wouldn't shock me, and there's another one, if he was arrested, that he would mysteriously commit suicide as well. It is Carlson Tucker had an attempt on his life while in Russia. I did not hear that, JJ. I did not hear that. So, but there is, and then like Julian Assange was, releasing information too, and they can't wait to get him in jail. It's just anybody that, what if you were going to be a potential whistleblower? Okay, I mean, just look at it realistically. You want to be a potential whistleblower. You see something going on that's not right. But then what you're going to look at what happened to the other people that have come forward and shared information and let people know what's happened to them, right? that would obviously discourage you from doing so. And I think that happens quite a bit. I really do. So, yeah, sad he was telling the truth and he's a bad man. Agreed. Yeah. So now they say, yeah, exactly. If they ever got their hands on him, he'll disappear. you know. But I don't know. Like I said, there's so many things that happen. There's so many things that we are told one thing turns out to be something completely different, and then they wonder why. Right? They wonder why. And I love this is what I love too. As soon as you disagree with whatever the narrative is, whatever it is, as soon as you disagree with what the narrative, well, then you are a racist, you're a misogynist, you're a xenophobe, you're a homophobe, you're transphobe, you're Islamophobe. They got all the terms that they're going to try to shout you down if you don't agree with the whole thing. Ed, remember before the pandemic broke, the CDC employee mysteriously killed himself. He was going to whistleblow about, yeah, the one that they found in the creek that supposedly drowned himself. JJ, I think I know which one you're talking about. That one doctor. Yeah. Well, let's think about this, folks. Let's think about holistic medicine for a moment. Okay. How many holistic doctors have killed themselves, right? Allegedly killed themselves because maybe they found something, right, that worked to treat certain ailments that certain big pharmas, right, are making a ton of money off of. But if there is a holistic way to do it where you don't have to go through big pharma, you wouldn't go through big pharma for the treatment, not the cure, right? So, I honestly don't believe that they will ever come out with a cure for cancer. All right. Now, as a cancer survivor, okay, I'm a cancer survivor, guys. Gone under the knife and, had part of my body taken out because of cancer. Uh, but I, I, I'm not going to give you my opinion of do I believe that there's a cure or not. Okay. I'm not going to give you that opinion, but there's too much money in the treatment to be profitable for big pharma to come up with a cure. I'll just put it like that. Okay. Now, I know there's a lot of research been done through the years. There's certain cancers that are, very manageable now, like the cancer that I had. Okay. For an example, the cancer that I had affects 1 in a million people. It's a deep tissue cancer. It's a form of skin cancer, but it's not on the surface skin cancer. It is a deep tissue cancer, but it is a form of skin cancer. And my cancer doctor, when I found out that I had that cancer, she told me at the time, she said, if you had to pick a cancer, you got the right one. It affects, like I said, 1 in a million people. So in any given year, 330 million Americans, you're looking at 330 cases of the kind of cancer that I had. Now, the good thing with that, 98% cure rate, and also only 5% of people does it metastasize. So, it is really very, very fortunate in my case. And like I said, as of July, I will be 9 years cancer free. So, real happy about that. Real happy to still be here. You know, um, you know, it's a very, very scary thing. But what's the cause? Hard to say. Hard to say. Then how did you know you had cancer if not um, visible on the skin, if not personal? No, that's fine question. What happens with the kind of cancer that I had? It presents itself as a mass. So where for me, it's always on the trunk with the type of cancer that I have. So it could either be in the front or it can be on your back. Okay. In my case, it was on my back. what I initially thought, I thought I had a zit because I have adult cystic acne. So I had this lump, excuse me, in my lower back, and I was feeling it, and I'm like going, and I'm trying to squeeze it, because I'm thinking it's a zit. Well, it was getting bigger. So I got concerned because of my family history of cancer in my family. I was like, okay, I'm going to go get this checked out. Now, what they thought it was at first, they thought it was a sebaceous cyst. That's all they thought it was the cyst. So I went in and I had an initial surgery, same day surgery, one that I was awake for. They went in and shot me up with painkillers in my back to numb the area. Then they cut it out, and it was an encapsulated mass about that big, looked like an egg. Okay. It was an encapsulated mass. And so what he said to me at the time was, he says, we're going to take it, run the pathologies on it, and, we're going to go from there. And I'll have you come back to my office in 2 weeks, and we'll go from there. And I said, okay. So my original scar was that big, that big. Okay. They went in, took that mass out. And thank goodness it was encapsulated, which means that it wasn't, going elsewhere. So they took that out. 2 weeks later, I went back. And if you guys remember, anybody that's been with the channel long enough to remember, the day before we were moving down to the new homestead was when I went to the doctor. So, like the next day, the Friday, I was moving all day. So, had the U-Haul already. And I actually, after that was taken out, I felt really good. I felt really good. I was like, man, I feel fantastic. This is great. So I went to the doctor and I looked at his face and I was like, oh, I just knew. I just knew it wasn't good. And so he said to me, he said, because you're in the medical field, I'm going to shoot you straight. He said, you have cancer. He goes, you have a very rare form of cancer. And it's a mouthful of a name, folks. I couldn't tell you what the name of it is anymore because it's this big, long mouthful of a name. But it explained to me it's a form of skin cancer, but it's a deep tissue cancer. Fast acting, that's part of it too. It's really fast acting. Um, and so he said to me, this doctor that had done the first surgery, he said, I've never seen it in my career and I'll probably never see it again. So me being me, I go, well, doc, I said, I'm very happy I was able to do that for you. And he starts laughing. He goes, you're a nut. But I was really upset. I was really upset. I remember, I'll tell you the story. So I got out of there and I'm like shell shocked. I'm like, holy crap, I got cancer. And again, like I tell you, in my family, okay, in my family, we die of two things. We die of old age and we die of cancer. That's what we die of in my family. So, when you get that diagnosis, it's not very pleasant. So what happened was I called my sister, and I get emotional thinking about this, guys. I'll be honest with you. And I remember I called her up and I said, all I got out, all I got out was this. I said, well, Becky, I go, I'm unique, right? And then I just start crying. And she's like, Ed, Ed, what's going on? What's going on? And that's when I told her, and it's I will tell you, folks, when you have that happen, okay, when you have that happen, you reevaluate big time. You look at life and you go, all right, what's important? What's priorities? Because you don't know what kind of time you've got. You don't. I mean, none of us do anyway, but we get caught up in all the nonsensical BS and all the time. But we don't look sometimes take a deep look at the big picture of things. And so it's and I'll tell you what, I'm a fighter. Okay, I am a fighter. I there's no quitting me. I'm gonna go to the last dog is hung. You know what I mean? So it's but it the only way I can describe it when I got the news, okay, when I got the news, It felt like somebody reared back and kicked me as hard as they could in the testicles. It knocks the wind out of you. I mean, it just it's scary. It is definitely scary. So it's that's a lot of the reasons why I am the way that I am, and the way when I talk to you guys about certain things, the small, minuscule, stupid, nonsensical stuff that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why do you have to have a life changing event in your life to look at stuff and evaluate stuff and figure out what's really important and what's not important? I know for me personally, my kids at the time when I was diagnosed with cancer, my kids were 13, my twins were. And, I'll never forget that, and my daughter was obviously very, very upset. And, you know, I just was like, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to get through it and we're going to be fine. I mean, especially when they give you the odds and the odds are really, really good. But I caught it early, which is a good thing too. And that's one of the things I'm going to always encourage all of you for this. So just this is something that I'm going to encourage you to do. If something in your body is not right or something feels wrong, okay, please go and get it checked out, because when you wait and you don't take care of it and you don't focus on that and realize that something's not right, if you don't take care of it and find out what it is, it can get a lot worse. And it, not necessarily doesn't have to be cancer, but it could be something else that if you get the proper help, you're gonna be in a better situation. So that's what I would definitely encourage you. If you see something like on your body, a lump or a mass, a mole that's changing color or looks different, get to the doctors. Let them figure it out. That's what their job is. But I just had that experience that, oh wow, okay. Well, like I said, when that, um, people will come to me and they'll ask me questions a lot of times, and they'll say, "This is what's going on. What do you think I should do?" And my answer, guys, I will tell you what, my answer is always generally the same: get to the doctors. Now, I got a pretty good idea a lot of times, but it's not my job to diagnose. That's not my role. I could say to you, it could be this, but I'm not 100% sure, because you see enough, you kind of figure things out in nursing, but definitely doctors are there and they're there for a reason. And get to your doctor, get checked out, get the blood work done, find out what's going on, and hopefully it's something that's treatable that they can take care of, especially if they catch it early enough, and you're going to be able to get through it. So, but that's something I just wanted to share that with you, and I think that that's important. So, do I trust the healthcare system? Honestly, I don't go to the doctors generally. I generally don't go. So, you just never know what could happen. But when something comes up and something's different and something's not right, it's better to go and address it and take care of it. So, but Lisa said I bawled my eyes out when I found answer. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. So, but yeah, it's just it's definitely a game changer. It makes you sit down. I'll tell you what, folks. Those of you that have never had cancer, you will never understand. Okay, you really won't. You could say, "Oh yeah, I get it," but you won't. You can't unless you've experienced it. Unless you've gone through it, you will never know what that experience is like. It's just like somebody that, uh, oh my God, I'm trying to think of an example. You know, if somebody's going through something in their life, and unless so when people die, okay, a lot of times people will say, I know how you feel. Well, you don't know how they feel. Okay. I always try to go, I empathize with you. I can't say I know how you feel because haven't gone through that, so I can't tell you I know how that feels. Oh, I know. Like a loss of a child. Anybody that's ever lost a child, I hope to God I never have to experience that in my life. I hope I never have to. I mean, I hope I go before my kids, because that's the way it's supposed to be. But kids, it happens. Um, so I could never say I know how you feel, because I don't, and I don't want to. Okay, so I can empathize with them, and I can have compassion, and say, my God, my heart goes out to you. I can't even imagine what you must be going through, because I can't. um you know and that's not something you get over. You don't get over it and move on. That's not. So that's just that was the example I was thinking initially in my head, and it just wasn't coming up right away. But again, if you haven't experienced cancer, you can't know what it's like. You can't. And it's just it is definitely, at having a child die from this is extremely hard on the parents. Oh yeah, I couldn't even imagine. Could not even imagine. It's got to be a horrible thing, and that does happen, unfortunately. But that's like I said. This is a gift to me. This existence is a gift, and it's what we do with it, and how we interact with people, and how we treat people, and that I think that's what it's about. You know what I mean? I think that's what it's about. So you just try to be a decent person, and you go from there, and things are going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Things are going to happen. I lost my son. Worst thing that I've ever gone through. I couldn't even, like I said, I can't even imagine, and I'm sorry that you've lost your child. um it's a horrible thing. Amazing how many of us in the chat have had cancer. Cancer is way more prevalent now, than it was back in the day. Absolutely. Just found out I have a form of skin cancer. It's an unreal feeling. Absolutely. And hopefully they can take care of it, Robert, and you'll get through it, and you'll be okay. You know what I mean? That's you got to fight it. I mean, I'll tell you what. Look, guys, let's look at JJ. Look at the deck that JJ got dealt. I mean, you want to talk about a crap hand? He's been dealing with a crap hand, okay, and he's been fighting it, which is good. And I think he's going to come through it just fine. It's everything is a test. Everything is a test, and but it's just we deal with what we got to deal with. Still fighting the fight. Yeah, I know you are, brother. I know you are. So, but like I said, the richest man in the world is somebody that has good health. If you got good health, you got the whole world by the toenails. So, it's just if you don't have your health, you got nothing. And that's tough. A lot of people deal with a lot of different things, pain wise, and back issues and everything else. It's not an easy thing for people to have to deal with. But we do the best we can. And I think that that's important. And that's one of the things I always tell people. Like, if somebody is a complete jerk, I try. It doesn't always work, but I try, and go, okay, wonder what they're going through, because they got to be going through something, because there's no reason, um, you know, to so I always try to talk to people when I see that they're like in a miserable mood, and they're like unhappy and thing. I try to say, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Do you want to talk about it? And sometimes they will, and sometimes they won't. But if you can try to diffuse that anger, well, yes, why tonight? You're being crazy. It's being a nut job tonight. But I'd enjoy that beautiful piece of property you own. It's awesome. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Yep. So my son was so close to dying in a wreck. Had a TBI for 30 years ago. Wow. Yeah. Like I said, you don't know. Um, she knows you're talking about stats. And she could. I know it's okay, baby. It's okay. I know it's okay. Thank you. Good stretch. With this paw on the shoulder thing. What are you doing? Okay, you got to go down, baby. Go down. All right. Yeah, she's trying to. She's a good girl. She's a real good girl. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and do egg count. What do you get? 332 in the chat. Before we start egg count, don't start putting numbers up yet. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithm, so I appreciate it for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would also ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon. To get all notifications as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do egg count. How many eggs today, and did the white hen lay? Yes or no? So we will go from there, and we'll give you guys a minute, and we will see what everybody comes up with. So. Had a rainy day here today, guys. Raining off and on all day, overcast. Definitely much cooler today. I think our high was maybe 61, which is not a terrible high, but it was definitely cooler. Yesterday was beautiful. I think we hit 75 yesterday. So, yeah, just what are you going to do? It's one of those things that happens. So, no, DJ had his guess, JJ. He had his normal guess. All right, guys, if you had the same guess as Delbert Jones with 3 eggs today, and yes for the white hen, then you are 100% correct. So, congratulations to Delbert. You are the winner of the egg count, and you've won absolutely nothing. No, I saw DJ had his guess of 4, and yes. I went out there, I checked just before the live stream, and I was like, what? Only the 3? I go, lazy chickens. Okay, no more now. Stop. I was like, lazy chickens. But yeah, well, I think the weather's a factor. I really do. So they were like, hey, this weather's not fun. We don't like it. And so we're going to protest. Malachi saying mine aren't laying. Yeah, my sister, I asked her how the hens are doing up there, and she says they're getting JJ's here in the chat, Lisa. Why don't you ask him? He's right in the chat. Um, they're getting like 2 eggs a day up there. That's it. That's all they're getting. She said we had one day. She said we got 6. Then the next day we were back to 2. I said there's no rhyme or reason with the chickens. You just never know. Yesterday, which was a non-egg count day, I think I had 3 earlier, and then I got a 4th egg later. But it was all brown eggs yesterday. So you just like I said, you don't know. Sometimes they are awesome, and I think as the weather warms up, they'll be more active and they'll lay more. So we'll see what happens. I thought one, was getting broody, but she wasn't in there today. So she was in there trying to lay an egg. So, but no, they're fun. I enjoy the chickens. They're I try to give them treats when I can. I give them like my scraps of celery and lettuce and all that kind of stuff, and they devour that. So mine are laying better, but I still have a few freeloaders. It happens. It happens. But so anyway, again, there's a lot of stuff being put out there. What you have to understand too, there's always going to be misinformation. So there's going to be things that are said and done to distract us from something else. You know what I mean? They're trying to, you know, put our attention elsewhere. So here's a couple thoughts. Why the attack on meat, right? Think about that. They want you to get away from eating meat, that protein. And actually, eating meat is a good thing. We're carnivores. That's what we are. We're designed to eat meat. That's what we do. And so they're pushing the lab grown meat. They're pushing that. They're trying to, you know, through the green agenda, saying that it's affecting the planet, which I'm not buying it personally. That's just my opinion, but it's craziness. It's craziness. But it just yeah, flour made from bugs. Yeah, I don't get that either. I'm not interested in that at all. I don't really feel like eating bugs, but yeah, it's control. A lot of it, Richard. Yep, a lot of it's control. Well, you look at the attack on gun owners. When gun owners are not the ones that are out there doing stupid things, but yet they want to take away our rights, which is amazing to me. It's just like with drunk drivers. It'd be like, okay, well, we got this real issue with drunk drivers, so we're going to take away everybody's car because of the drunk driver. So we're going to punish all the people that are doing the right thing, and yeah, buy your own wheat berries and grow your own. Don says, yeah. Well, wheat berries are an awesome thing to have, guys. So talk about that for a minute, okay? I have wheat berries in my preps. Wheat berries have not been processed into flour yet. They will last for 30 years. 30 years. That's how long they'll last, okay? If they're still encased in their shell, if you will. The cool thing about wheat berries is you can also take them and you can plant them at any point in time and grow more wheat. So that's a good thing as well. Um, I have red and white berries that I got from the LDS store. Yeah, there was a little farm store up in New York that I used to go and I would pick up the 50-pound bags of the wheat berries. So I have the red and the white as well. Got them all stored away, packed away, vacuum sealed, a lot of them, and put them into 5-gallon buckets. So yeah, that's one of the things that I've been doing. Like I said, I've been doing that for quite a while, and I think that it's a smart thing to do. So a really good thing to have. And again, you can also turn it that the wheat berries into wheat or flour as well. So there is it's a good thing to have. Now I would recommend that you also have the wheat grinder. You're going to need to have that to grind it, and that's a hand crank. You can put that on a counter. I picked one up at the Amish store, and I think it's like I said, it's a really really good thing to have. So. Yep, and a hand grinder. Don just said the same thing. So yeah, having the hand grinder's big. And I had a quick buffer. Oh, you guys were getting some buffering. Oh, I see that. Well, it's probably games being played. You never know. A lot of buffering tonight. All right, JJ. Well, thank you for letting me know. I left mine at your place. Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I've got one here too, Malachi's Corner. So some people are getting buffering and some are not. That's so weird. But Nostradamus says I got kicked out completely. Wow, that is so bizarre. Yeah, and to see the numbers are going back up now. Went all the way down to like 195, and now I see it's back up to 265 in the chat. So that's weird. But I have a hand grinder. I use it for my coffee beans. Nothing wrong with that either. 5x5 in Ireland. Well, that's good. Full of hope. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, you never know. I mean, there's so many games that are being played by YouTube all the time. To be honest with you guys, um, I've had recently, and when I say recently, I would say in the last month. And so here's the weird thing with this. Okay, so I hadn't had a video removed in a while. All right, I haven't had a strike. Let me knock on for Micah saying that in quite a while. Okay, and so what happens is when they remove a video saying that 9 times out of 10 they're saying that I'm giving medical misinformation. So they're taking videos that I put up 10 years ago that nobody watches anyway. They take those down. It affects the channel, right? And I always notice that when that happens, when they take a video and they say, this has been removed for medical misinformation or whatever, We're not going to give you a strike, which I appreciate that on a video that's that old. They really shouldn't, but um, it is, you know, it always affects the channel. All of a sudden, I see a decrease in people watching the channel. People aren't getting notifications. The numbers start to go back down again because they're taking people off. It's just, like I said, it's a game that's been going on. Um, Ever since I think it started happening when Google took over YouTube, when Google bought YouTube, that's when things started to not go well on YouTube anymore. It's just, like I said, it's all part of it's a game. That's what you have to really. Do you have an alternative forum if YouTube takes you off? Yes, I am on Rumble, and the videos that I do on here do get posted to Rumble as well. So, full of hopes that you spoke too soon, went on a 3-second loop repeating a few words. Weird. Oh, how weird is that? So you felt left out, so they made sure that you had problems. Barbara said I've had to resubscribe. Yeah, that happens a lot of times, Barbara. That's happened to a lot of people. And here's the sad thing with it: if people aren't paying attention, and I've had people tell me, they said I just stopped getting notifications, and I thought you were gone, and then I found your channel again, after months, and they were like, and I didn't realize that they had unsubscribed me. So why would they do that? You know what I mean? So Carol said I got a Biden commercial. Oh, lucky you. Is he telling you how wonderful everything is in the commercial? I had to resubscribe to Guns and Gadgets twice. Yeah, like I said, it's just unfortunately, it's not just my channel, and I know that. Okay, Forrest Ghost Preparedness says was unsubscribed last month. Yeah, so I mean that's part of the game that's going on. And the people that know, you know, Carol said he's telling more lies. Imagine that. Yeah, imagine that. But people don't realize that Pelosi is a major holder in YouTube. Yeah, it's like I said. There's people. There is an agenda. That's a fact. They don't like certain channels because of what we represent and stuff like that. So they make it difficult. So, yep, I'm over on there too, Diane. I really rarely, I'll be honest with you, I rarely go on there though. So rarely go on there. I can't even tell you the last time I was on there. So I stopped going on there when all the crap was going on and they were, removing all kinds of content and banning people. And I was just like, well, I'm kind of done with that. So, seeing that Elon Musk bought it was great. And the fact that he got rid of so many people that were unnecessary, I thought that was amazing as well. So, anyway, um, if YouTube dislike you, it means you're on the right path. Yeah, right. That's the way I always looked at it. Um, you know, I think getting back to a more simpler way of life for me personally. Okay, I'll talk about from my perspective. I was on a hamster wheel, folks. I was for a long time, and I felt like I as a man, it's my responsibility to take care of my family and do that type of thing, which that never went away. But I realized I didn't need to have that big house, and that I was basically being a slave to the system. And it was getting worse and worse each year because everything kept going up, up, and up. And so I made some changes. And, when I decided to make those changes, my ex wife bailed. And so, that happens. But for me personally, the choices that I made and the changes that I made has made my life much less stressful. So, when I'll give you a great example. So, when I lived in Greece, New York, taxes are ridiculous in Greece, New York. Many, many years ago now, what more than 10 years ago, on a quarter acre lot, 1,900 square foot house. I was paying $5,000 a year in taxes. Okay. This just to give you an example, and that's 10 years ago. So every year, everything kept going up and up and up, except for my paycheck. And I was very highly stressed, and I was like losing my mind. And so my mortgage payment was 1225 a month. Okay. Just to give you an idea, out of that 1225 a month that I was paying for that mortgage, 118 a month was going towards principal. The rest, over $1,000 a month, was going towards taxes and interest. Okay. And I sat there and I was like, this is insanity. This is insanity. If I get away from this and I want it that way, I can take that 1,200 a month and use it for me and my family, to be able to take care of that and not have this huge expense. So I bought the property that I bought after the divorce. My property taxes in Georgia have gone up 400 a month over the last 2 years. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, and they keep going up too, and that's the sad thing. Um, so I bought the property down, in New York on the other property that I had bought, and I left suburbia, and I moved out into the country, and much better financially, much better financially. And I remember when I bought the building. Okay, and this is what I always thought was funny, and we're gonna do shout outs here in just a minute. But I wanted to share this with you. When I bought the building up in New York, to turn into our home, I had a bunch of people were like, "Oh my God, you're going right back into debt again." And I said, "Well, you got to understand, I'm going into debt for 3 years, not for 30. My payments on the property, I did a 5 year loan, private 5 year loan with the person that I bought the property from, and I actually ended up paying that off early. And I actually paid the building off early as well, to be honest with you. So, uh, but I said, where can I go and live for that price? I mean, my payment on the property was, God, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was less than $200 a month was what I was paying for the property itself. I had 3 acres. And the building payment, I think, was like 490 or something to that effect. And I said, where could I go and live that cheaply someplace else? And it wasn't like it was forever. That 490 payment was 3 years. And after, and like I said, I did pay it off early, and then it was gone. When my sister bought her building in New York, I told her, I said, Beck, you do a 3 year thing. It's a rent to own. That 3 years will go by so fast. It's incredible. Well, last April was the 3 years for her already. And she even said to me, she goes, Ed, I can't believe how quickly, um, you know, you know, how quickly that time went by. And I said, yeah. And now you have that money freed up. Your building is paid for. And so, and there's no mortgage. You have no mortgage. You have none of that stuff. And so to me, living a more simpler, easier life it made more sense. I don't mind working. I've never minded working. But at the end of the day, I want to put that money into my pocket, not into banks and all that type of stuff. So that's kind of my story and why, and I made a lot of changes based on my beliefs and, what I think is going on with the world. And I wanted to be in a safer location and make sure that my kids could be safe and all those type of things. So there was a lot to it. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, the PMI. Yep, yep, yeah. So I'll explain that real quick. Juby Joe's talking about PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. When you get a loan with the bank, if you don't put 20% down on your property, you have to pay PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, which protects the bank. It doesn't protect you, but you pay for it, okay? Until you get 20% equity in the home. And then you have to go to the bank once you've got your 20% equity and say, hey, I got 20% equity now. I want the PMI taken off. If you don't, you just keep paying PMI because they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. So that's just part of the game that goes on as well. It's all designed, you know. Yeah, they'll continue to charge you, Juby Joe. Yes. If you don't go to them and say, hey, I have XYZ amount of equity in the home, I want this PMI taken off. So, yep. All right. So stop. Enough now. I've had enough of you tonight. That's like 6 times. So no, behave yourself. All right. So we're gonna do shout outs real quick. We have Heavenly Hills Homestead. That's Ryan growing giant vegetables, real good guy. And do you do anything different today in your daily life because you had cancer? That's a great question. I will answer that really quickly. The only difference because I had cancer than before, I don't have the strength that I had before. Um, could be a combination of age, but a lot of it is I can't do like I used to do lamb's light. That's really the only difference from my life. I can't go like I used to go, and so that's really the only difference. I'm pretty strong still, and I can take care of what I got to take care of, and I do what I have to do, but I can't go like I used to go. All right, so we have Icky Can up in Canada. Icky Can is a good guy, so definitely show him some support as well. We have Angry Prepper down in New York City. There is Alaska Prepper, that's Rudy, another really good guy. There's Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and myself, Reliance, 2 different channels. Same guy, living off grid up in Canada. Master builder, really interesting to watch. There is Demcad, another really good guy to watch. There's Corporal's Corner, Bjorn Hansen. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks, up in New York. There is Bizariza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles, a very interesting story. There is Marfugal News. It's Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. Guys, you got to give me a second. I have oily skin, and I got to wash my face real quick. Hold on. Watch out, baby. Watch out. Come on. All right. Come on. Watch out. Get down. I usually wash my face before a live stream, and I just didn't do it tonight. And I don't know why. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, all right, let's get back to this. We have Marfugal News, Adam and Dax out on the West Coast, good guys out there. We have Magic Prepper. There's Wranglestar, Red Poppy Ranch. We have Survival Lily coming at us out of Europe. There is Kyle's Cabin out of Minnesota. Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband and wife team, really good people as well. There is Green Greg's. You have Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. We have Gray Man Prepping. There's Doug and Stacy, another good channel. They've been around a long time as well. The Nomadic Movement down in Panama, nice young couple down there. The Green Dream Project out in Arizona, showing you what it's like to live in the desert. Camping with Steve Wallace, doing stealth camping up in Canada. Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works. You have the Needy. Stop. The Needy Homesteader. You have Boss of the Swamp. I don't care. Now stop it. No, stop. There is. She's in a mood tonight. There is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer. He's doing all the things with the sun. Really interesting to watch that as well. There's Bear Independent. You have the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. There's Mary Greeley News, giving you all the latest updates of what's going on with Yellowstone and everything else. There is Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. Truth Be Told with Tara. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy to get your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Real good guy, very passionate about the weather, but he gives back to the community in a big way as well. Russell Brand, I like Russell Brand as well. There's Deep South Homestead, very family friendly oriented channel, good people there as well. You have The Outsider. There is Betting on Alaska. The young man is the son of Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. And so another, you're just starting his journey living off grid. So good guy. The Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. Simple Life Reclaimed. You have Townsend showing you what it's like to live in the 1800s. Very, very cool. Uh, I love when she talks back to you. Yeah, she is something. The Prepared Mind. You have Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. There's East Tennessee Preparedness, the Economic Ninja, and Little House Off Gritty. So a lot of good information, guys. A lot of good channels out there. I kind of tried to go through it quick because I was behind, but a lot of good information out there. Other people are putting other channels that they like in the chat as well. So I do believe supporting each other, and you know that is a good thing. So a lot of good information. Ed, what do you pay in property taxes in West Virginia? Mary, not as much as New York, not by a long shot. I will say that it's not. I'm not going to tell you what I pay for taxes down here, but it's definitely much much better than when I was in New York. Now, there's a lot of advantages. I'll tell you, if you ever want to escape one of the cities, and that's what I call it, escape, or the states that are taxing you to death, there are states out there that are good states to come to. I know, like West Virginia gets a bad rap. All the crime is, the drugs and blah blah blah. Well, folks, I'll tell you what, drugs are everywhere. You're never going to escape drugs. They're everywhere. So if you don't do them, then you're going to be okay. So, but it's just the land is cheaper down here. The taxes are cheaper. It's a good place to live, and like I said, I love it down here, and I will spend the rest of my life down here in West Virginia. I already know that, so that's just my take on it. But life is short, and you have to do things that are in your best interest and are going to give you a chance to have a better life. So many people, so many people. Oh, I must have missed what was the comment? I missed the comment. Someone being a YouTube keyboard warrior. I would imagine now that happens. What are you going to do? So I just, like I said, I'm a big believer in live and let live and try to be decent to people. And if people don't want to go that route, then we can always go another route. Just the way I look at it. Anyway, we are Legion because we are many. Where is everybody from tonight? Let's go ahead and do that. He said he would take from us preppers and SHTF. Well, he must not have a long life expectancy on his life or wishing for. I love when people say that. That is the funniest thing. Okay, we got Fayetteville, North Carolina with Carol, Troutman, North Carolina with Troy, Critter Lover in Virginia, Churchville, New York with Kathy, Hillsboro, Oregon with Chewy, BC, Canada with Janet, Fort Lauderdale. We have Arkansas in the house, Central Iowa with Robert, West Virginia with Pappy, West Virginia with Morning Light, Delbert in the Missouri and the Ozarks, Watcher in Connecticut, Louisville, Kentucky with Debbie, Colorado with Dell, Mobile, Alabama with Mary, BC, Canada with Emil, Waterloo, New York with Sharon, Arkansas with Lady Kicks, Southwest Ohio with Barbara, Greenlee County, Arizona with Codster, uh, Tennessee, we got Palatico, Idaho with Janita, Kingsman, Arizona with David, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house. Southern Minnesota with Susan, Ontario, Canada with Dave, Sean the Englishman from Chatham, Ontario, Canada, Hollywood, Florida with Donna, the UP of Michigan with Dawn, Weedsport, New York. We got Tennessee with Broken Dolly, Leesburg, Florida with Joan, Cedar Creek, Ohio with Mikey, uh, Delon, Florida. We have West Central Ohio with Dale, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania with Melissa, the Mojave Desert in Southern Cal with Dave, Las Vegas, Nevada with Lynn in the house, East Central Illinois with Ranger, Western New York with Karen. So yeah, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network. We got Ron coming at us out of Baltimore, Maryland. We're the ones that truly can make a difference. We can make a difference now by trying to wake people up and educate people, and we can make even more of a difference in the long run, because people are going to need our help. The Country Humans Network out of Minnesota, SHB out of North Carolina. So here's what I think is funny about that kind of a comment, okay? Just putting it out there, guys. In an SHTF situation, in a true SHTF situation, people that prep, people that are prepared are ready, okay? That's just a fact. So some Yahoo that thinks because he may have a, whatever, he's got a gun or whatever and stuff like that, and he thinks he's going to come and take from preppers, he must not be really happy with his life, because that's probably the last place you're going to want to go and try to take from somebody when a true SHTF situation comes, because they're going to get put in the ground. Had the troll was a meth head. Gee, that's too funny. It's just like I said. It's just it. People like that, they're not worth the waste of your time or your energy, folks. They're really not. So that's just that is what it is. So we got what, 288. Let's see if we get 12 more, guys. Let's see if we can hit 300 thumbs up before we jump off of here. Now, I used to get that a lot when I started prepping and stuff, and people would say, "Oh, well, I'm going to come and take your stuff." And I always just say to them, "Well, good luck, and when you come, make sure you bring lots of body bags, because you're going to need them." Because that's just a stupid comment. It's just like that. If you guys remember the Doomsday Preppers, and you had that one guy he was a fat slob, and he ended up being a pedophile, wasn't allowed to have guns, and he ended up going to jail after the show because he was exposed. And he was like, "Oh, we're going to take from preppers when SHTF happens." It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. And like I said, most people that are prepared, they're ready for that type of an incursion. And if it happens, they're going to do what they have to do to protect the people that they care about. Guys, I want to thank the moderators who do a fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Uh, really appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, what you guys do for me. It means a lot. I want to thank you guys for being here, being part of the channel. It's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy, being on here. I'm seeing 298, so we need two more, guys, two more. But it's a lot of fun. And even with the interruptions of idiots, that's why I have these awesome moderators that just get rid of them. And so we just rock on and we move on and we go from there. So uh, anyway, guys, remember, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. If we ever could figure that one out, we're going to be in much, much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us, okay? We have to, they use race, religion, political affiliation. It's all games. It's all things to keep us fighting amongst each other so that we'll never come together. If we ever came together and organized, the government and big business would crap their pants, because we could make a change happen. And they know that, and we're in a lot of cases too stupid to know the kind of power that we truly have. Also, remember, guys, hug and love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really, really important to tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish. It doesn't have to be about prepping. It doesn't have to be about living off grid. It's whatever your dreams, your aspirations, your goals are. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, the only person that's going to stop you from achieving those goals is you. That's it. Nobody else. So stay positive, stay away from negative people that tell you what you can accomplish and what you can't do. Um, don't even listen to them. Set your goals, make them happen. And the best way to shut those people up is to reach your goals. Because what can they say once you've done it, right? So just stay positive. Like I said, you're going to be just fine. Do the best you can. Continue to prep. Control what you can control. Okay? That's what it comes down to. Whatever these lunatics that are in charge are going to do, they're going to do. And there's nothing we can do to stop it, realistically. So control your own narrative. Look at what you can do to make your life better, the lives of your family better, and go from there. All right. So we're at 305. So we got past 300. That's cool. Everybody, please have a great weekend. I will see you all tomorrow. Preparedness 1 out for now.